I think we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 4 of our Word Sprint Challenge. So many happy things going on for sure. Today, we are not actually sprinting. What we are going to do is talk about the challenge so far, all the way up through day 4, and what you're going to do today to calculate your words per minute average. And then we are going to take that data that we've learned and we're going to apply it to creating your sweet spot when it comes to your ideal writing sprint time. Now, if you have been participating in this entire weekly challenge, hopefully you will already have all that data figured out. Day 1 was our early riser day. Day 2 was our afternoon stretch. Day 3, we tried writing in the evening. And day 4 was, which is today, is your choice, where you were going to write however you wanted to experiment. So your own length, your own time of day. However, because we are live here also on my YouTube channel as well as Facebook, I know that some of you might not have been participating in this challenge so far. So I'm going to explain how the data gathering works so that you can grab this workbook for yourself or do a version in your own notebook and use these types of experiments to maximize your writing time, because that's what this is all about. Word sprints are an amazing way to focus yourself in for a specific period of time. But like I've said all week, every writer has a different level of focus, and you may have a different level of focus now in your life than you did 5 years ago, because maybe 5 years ago you didn't have a baby who I just heard her crying and I'm like, I'm not going to get you just yet until George is home, because I do not want her on my lap right now with my iPad here. But that's okay. Hopefully she's not crying. I can just hear her waking up from her nap. So fingers crossed she's going to hang out in there for a little bit longer. But my level of how long I'm able to focus in without distractions at this stage in my life with a little one at home is very different than it was 2 years ago when I was pregnant. And that was very different from 2 years before when I had like a 3-year-old at home instead of a little baby. So you're going to potentially change and adjust and constantly evolve your ideal writing time based on what stage of life you're in, what kind of work or school you have going on. So this is a really cool writing tool that you can do. Hi, Luna. Welcome, welcome. So this is a tool or a system that you can use anytime you want. If you want to grab the official challenge workbook that looks something like this, you can get it for free in my HB resource library. There's tons of resources in there. I don't have it with me handy, but I also just put a brand new word sprint tracker into the HB resource library. I have an entire series of videos here on YouTube, at least. If I know some of you are watching on Facebook too. Hi, Alexandra. That is all about how to plot a novel, how to edit a novel, how to write a series, which, by the way, shortly after this live video, I have a new video that I just recorded for you all today, which is how to write a serial and what's the difference between a serial and a series. So that's a fun video that will go up shortly after this. But if you want to grab this free workbook, you can get it from my HB resource library that has all those other library resources in it, all those other writing resources. And all you have to do is sign up for my mailing list. So the link is down below for you to grab. Or I'm going to show you and walk you through today where, no, iPad. Come back. Okay. Technology. Okay, so it has a little mark on it and we'll just let it go. So you can grab this workbook. Oh, I hear the baby. And I'm going to kind of walk you through what it looks like inside in case you don't want to download mine or you don't have a printer. But just a very quick thing here is day 1 was early riser. So if you have not done this before, you can grab the workbook and start it today instead of being on day 4. But basically what you do every day of the challenge is you have a certain time of day you've been challenged to write, as well as a length of sprints. So on day 1, you were challenged to write in the morning, sometime before breakfast, and writing 3 10-minute sprints with a 5-minute break in between. And what I wanted you guys to do was write down, I'm going to turn this to black, but write down, like, this is sprint number 1, sprint number 2, sprint number 3. And I left you space to do 4. So there's no sprints today. Today and tomorrow, no sprints. We're just talking about how to do the workbook. So you could have done 4 sprints if you wanted. You could do as many as you want, but I challenged you to do at least 3. Then the sprint length was supposed to be 10 minutes. So just marking that on here. And again, some people kind of altered that for themselves, which is why I left that blank, okay? So the start time for you, if you wanted to, you could say that you started at, 6 a.m. And the reason the start time is important is because you're going to take several factors into consideration. You are going to take your sprint time, the starting time that you started during the day. It could be 6 in the morning for you, or it could have been 9 in the morning for you, or it could have been 4:30 in the morning for you. So write that time down. And then you're going to write at the end here, how many words did you write? So let's say you wrote, 142 words during that time. And then at the end of the day, you take that and you say total sprinting time, not including your breaks, was 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 30 minutes. So you're taking this data and you should have been collecting it throughout the entire time. Then your total word count would be the combination or the addition of all the words written so far. So let's say for that first day, we had 642 words written total. So we got 200 this time and then 300 this time. So let's say you've got all that data and you've been collecting it. Let me know in the comments if you have been collecting this data and filling out the workbook all the way through, or if you're just checking it out, just trying to see what this is all about. I'm just kind of curious as to how many of you have actually done this and what you found out along the way. So day 2, same deal, except we're writing in the afternoon and we switched the number of times out. So for example, in one example, you might be writing 25 minutes or 10 minutes in the morning. And now in the afternoon stretch, you're writing for 25-minute stretches with a 10-minute break in between. And throughout it, looking at this, writing at the time of day and doing a little bit of, oh, good, Brooke's been filling it out. Aubrey's been filling it out. Oh no, Kate says, I have not been able to do morning sprints. So how do I confirm subscription? So you should get an email in your inbox. So it should have sent you an email right away if you signed up. It'll come from Sarah@heartbreathings.com and it'll just say confirm your subscription, and you just click on the link. And if you click on the link, it will automatically download this particular freebie, so to speak, but I will also send you a link to the entire resource library right after that. Oh, good. Woman Who Sees also said, I filled it out and found out that I'm a night owl. So lots of people have been doing it all day. Cheryl also done it and already figured out her math, which is great. Another part of this process is to go writing at the time of day felt. And you would say, oh, this was really hard, or, oh, I really loved it. Then a little bit of journaling about this length of sprints and breaks worked or didn't work for me because. And so you're collecting all that data and you're staying aware and paying attention. Day 3 was writing at night for 15-minute breaks. We did that together. And then day 4 today should have been something that you wanted to try. So it could have been 60-minute sprints. It could have been as short as 5-minute sprints. So let me know in the comments if you have already done your day 4 sprinting, or if you're still going to do it later tonight, and what length of sprint you decided to check out or try out. So let's say for my purposes, because we're going to show you what the next step is. Let's say that I had decided that I was going to start my sprints at, let's say 10 a.m. today, and I was going to commit to doing 2 sprints of 30 minutes each. And I was going to do a 15-minute break in between. So let's say I was trying that. And then I wrote down my sprint number, my sprint length, and everything else. And let's say today I got a total of 17 60 minutes of sprinting time, and 17 words. So you're keeping track of all that data throughout. Now, what we're going to talk about today is how you take all that data and you figure out your sweet spot or your words per minute, which is really going to help you. So words per minute, let me see if I can make this a little bigger. What you do on this page is you're going to take this little chart that you see here in the middle, and you're going to input all the data from the previous days. So I made myself a little cheat sheet so I didn't have to do math live on the air. But let's say day one, you did exactly what I asked you to do in terms of the minutes. That would have put you at 30 minutes total, because remember, we did 3 10-minute sprints. And let's say I got 642 words. Day two, when I was writing in the afternoon, let's say I got 1940. Nope, don't want to mess up my own math. 1965 words. And I wrote for 50 total minutes. And oh, I forgot to put my number here. Oh no, I haven't done it yet. And then let's say day three for Night Owl, I wrote 1144 and wrote for a total of 45 minutes, because that was the 3 15-minute ones. And then for day four for myself today, let's say I wrote 17 words and it took me 60 minutes. So you just fill in that data with everything that you've collected from your 4 days of sprints so far. Then you just do the math. You say 642, or your total words, divided by your total minutes. So you just punch that into a calculator and you would get 21.4. So you can just round that up or down if you'd like, or you can keep that little decimal point. So the next one, though, when I was doing 25-minute sprints, I had a much higher words per minute average. I was writing 39.4 words per minute, which is a huge difference. That's almost double, right? So this is going to be the case for a lot of you, is that you will find that sometimes that even though you're still spending, so you're looking at 30 total minutes versus 50 total minutes, but really what you're looking at is how many words are you writing each minute, every minute? Because this goes to show you if your numbers look something like this, you will start to see that, wow, this is really going to be different. 10 minutes, I really can barely get started and I'm barely, showing up. But by 25 minutes, I'm really speeding through. So let's say we look through day 4 or day 3, which would have been, when we do that math, 25.4. And then day 4 would be 28.6. So if you start looking at this, you can see obviously these 20-minute sprints or 25-minute sprints were better for me. And in fact, if you look at what I was doing, day 4 was 30-minute sprints. Day 2 was 25-minute sprints, but I had a much higher average word per minute when I was writing 25-minute sprints. So what you will start to see is, instead of just looking at total word count, 1965 or 1700, you can see that I actually wrote more words in 50 minutes than I did in 60 minutes. And that adds up over time, because if you were doing every single day getting 200 more words in actually less time, you're going to start to be much more efficient. So that's the first thing you're going to do once you get past your day 4 sprints today, whether you've done them or not. I see some people said they have done them. Some people said they're doing them tonight. Rhiannon, I'm doing mine throughout the day today, and then tonight at 8 p.m. when Angela and I fill in for Kyan. Oh, I didn't know you were filling in. That is cool. I'm glad you let me know. So you can find out and maximize your time that you do have, which is so very important, because how many of us are limited in the amount of time and focus that we have? Even if you have unlimited time, most of us can go ahead and write, for maybe an hour or 2, but most of us cannot write 12 plus hours in a day, even if you had that kind of time. I actually had a friend a few years back that worked a full-time job and had been writing her novels in the evenings and on the weekends. And she was able to very excitedly quit her job to write full time. And when she was quitting her job to write full time, she said to me, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to write. I only could write, a couple hours here and there before, but now I'm going to be able to write for 8 hours a day. And so she was taking her average hourly word count and multiplying it by 8. And she started setting deadlines and pre-orders for herself based on being able to write a full 8 hours a day. And I kept saying, I almost said her name, but I'm not going to say it. I kept saying, please do not do that, because you're going to find that you can't, once you have that sweet spot, maybe she's really good at writing in the evenings, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get up every day and write for 8 hours straight. So there's a lot of things to really look into. And so I'm hoping that this challenge overall has gotten you thinking about not just when can I sit down and write, but coming up with a system and a method around your writing. And this actually will allow you to kind of gamify the process a bit too. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Alyssa says, I'm shocked that 10 minutes was the best for me. It was a big jump from the other times. So that's exactly what we're talking about. Some of us will see that, and some of us will have, the same, I think maybe it was Brooke said, a lot of my times are kind of the same or similar. So maybe all of your times are in that 20 minutes, area, and maybe some of them jump way up or way above. If you have numbers that are pretty much all the same, then what you want to do is look at the next factor. And even if you have one number that really jumps out, it's still important if you really want to find your true sweet spot, your best sprinting time, then it is really important to look at the next couple of things too. Not just this words per minute average, but also go back and look at what times of day were you writing on those days. So for example, if I pull out my little highlighter here and I look at this day, this was my afternoon day. But if let's say I go back and look at day 3, and I see that I actually really enjoyed more writing in the evening rather than in the afternoon, because I had a lot of distractions. People were coming up, and I still managed to get a lot of words because those 25 minutes was my sweet spot. But I have a feeling that maybe I could have gotten even more if I was doing those 25-minute sprints at night. So what you're going to do for tomorrow, for Friday, is you're going to take this data, not just what's your words per minute average, which gives you your sweet spot for maybe number of minutes sprinting or length of sprint. You're also going to look at how did you feel during that time of day and what type of break did you like the best? So if you feel like, okay, the 10-minute break was way too long, but I did really like those 50 minutes or those 25-minute sprints, maybe tomorrow you try something like, okay, I'm going to try the 25-minute sprints at 9 p.m. at night and see if I do a good job with that. So what you might find is that you've got so much better results when you start writing in the evening. Or you might also find that this huge number that you got, 39.4, when you do those sprints in the evening, that jumps way down to 22. Because the time of day is going to make a difference. So a lot of you said, I was shocked that 10 minutes was best for me, right? Alyssa just said that. But maybe tomorrow she goes and she says, okay, I really liked the 10-minute sprints. So this was my time, was 3 10-minute sprints, and she had the best result there. And that was in the morning. So let's say she says, okay, I'm going to try the 10-minute sprints this time at 4 in the afternoon on Friday and see if it's the time of day that matters most or the sprinting time. Another thing that she could say is, I was shocked the 10-minute sprints were great, but I want to try a 30-minute sprint in the morning and see if I can get those same results. See if the reason I got such great results with 10 minutes was not because of 10 minutes, but rather because I was writing in the morning. So really what you want to do is you take the combination of your favorite time of day to write from your journaling and your favorite break time. So by now you should kind of know, was 5 minutes too much? Was 5 minutes not enough? Was 10 minutes too much? And what is your average words per minute? What was your best sprint length? If you feel like none of these sprint links were great for you, that you tried the 10, the 15, the 25, and maybe today you tried 45 and nothing worked, then keep going with the experiment. Just create another page, another little block to put your data in and keep going and say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to try 50 minutes, or tomorrow I'm going to try, 5-minute sprints. I don't know if anybody has had any luck with 5-minute sprints. Ingrid said, I loved the 25 minutes, 5-minute sprints. Pomodoro really does rock. It can totally change your life, not just in writing, but in all the things that you're doing, your blog posts, your image creation, your social media scheduling, everything that you're doing, cleaning your house, even cleaning up the laundry, whatever it is. Just there's something for a lot of us about having that limited time that makes everything a little bit better. Kate says, I was surprised I was able to get a good word count after dinner. I always feel so tired after dinner, but it was rejuvenating to write at 8 p.m. See, sometimes I think we take it for granted. We say, oh, I'm so tired. There's no way I'm going to write well. And then you get on and you realize, gosh, I really actually did do a great job. So let's say, for example, that Kate wrote really well at night, but she was doing those 15-minute sprints. And she thinks, you know what, since I was doing so well at night, let me try evening sprints, but 20 minutes at a time this time. Then she's got that final thing. And if that goes even better with an even higher words per minute average, then you've found your sweet spot. Cheryl says, I found that 3 to 4 minute sprints were almost as productive as 25-minute sprints. Holy madoli. So there you go. Like, you never know. 3 or 4-minute sprints. So she could sit there and say, I'm going to sprint for 4 minutes. I'm going to get up and walk around. I'm going to sit down and sprint for another 4 minutes. And she still got as many words as she did when she, like, words per average words per minute, as she did when she sat down for long stretches of time. So it's that kind of thing of, like, really, instead of just, I think sometimes when it comes to anything productivity wise, we sometimes just go through the motions. It's like, okay, well, I'm in this sprinting group and they're doing 20-minute sprints, so that must be what I'm going to do. But when you go through it this methodical way, you can really start to find that you've got so much more possibility and potential out there. Like I mentioned last night, was that you can also try some very different kinds of things. Like one thing that my husband and I used to do, and I mentioned this yesterday, was he was playing a kind of battle game. And there were 2 different types of things that we used to do. We were playing a game together. And when we would start playing, we would set a timer for like 20 minutes. Okay, we're going to play this game or go through this dungeon, and we're going to play for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And then when that's over, I'm going to sit and write for 30 minutes. And then we're going to go through another dungeon. And that was a way to, like, kind of reward my writing with a little bit of gaming. Another thing that we used to do was he had it was like a PvP style battle game, kind of like a Halo type thing, but that wasn't Halo. And so he would go into the game, and we didn't know for sure how many minutes he would be in there, but he would go in and he would say, get started, go. And so I would start and I would write until he said, okay, game over. And so each little battle for him might last anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. And so there was an excitement to me not knowing when he was going to cut me off. So I was just writing as fast as I could. And I wrote an entire novel in like less than 60 days doing those types of sprints at night. And it was so much fun because I would be in the middle of a sentence and he would say, stop. And I would be like, oh, okay, how did I do? And we found a way to correlate his points with my words. And so we would kind of battle each other, even though he was gaming and I was writing. So there's lots of ways to experiment and try new things. You can also experiment with different locations. So you could try, okay, well, today I'm going to try writing in my office. Tomorrow I'm going to try this 20-minute afternoon sprints outside on the back porch, depending on where you are. It's been a little bit cold here in Charleston, but I know some of you, it's way too cold. And you could say, and then the next day I'm going to try writing in bed with my laptop and see what types of results you get. And the more you begin to experiment, the more you can get a general idea of your true words per minute average. Then when you can do that, you can do something kind of fun, which is taking a word count of like, say, 60,000 words for your book, if you know that you can write 500 words on average every single time you do a 20-minute sprint, then you can guess or at least estimate in pretty good order how long it's going to take you or how many sprints it will take you to write a 60,000 word novel. So if you can do 500 words every 25 minutes, that's about 1,000 words an hour. So you would know it's going to take you about 60 hours to write your rough draft, give or take. That is how you can really get knowledgeable about your writing instead of going on autopilot and just kind of going where the wind blows. So it's kind of cool. So Alana had said, hi, Sarah, where do you start when you want to write a book? I've been wanting to write a book for a while now, but I am new to writing. So I do actually have a video on my YouTube channel here that is called How to Get Started as a Writer. So just search for that video. I think it's in some of my like most watched videos down on the dashboard there. So hopefully you can get a chance to see that. Lots of good advice there. Kate Kavanaugh did a fun experiment where she randomized using dice rollers sprint lengths. It made it fun and exciting, never knowing the length of a sprint. There is something to be said for that. So find your sweet spot, but don't get stuck in a rut. So if you just feel like, oh, I can't motivate myself, what a cool idea. Grab a randomizer, ask a Google to random number 1 through 100, whatever, and start making it fun again. Because what I find is whether you're just getting started out as a writer or you've been doing this for a long time and you have 30 novels under your belt, sometimes the world can get really heavy. The idea of having to write novels and trying to make it work, or not selling as many books as you had wanted, or the pressure of fans wanting the books faster, or whatever it is that happens to drain your energy sometimes, that stuff can make it where you forget how much you loved to write in the first place and why you got started doing it. So even though this type of experiment seems to have like some math involved in it, and it seems very like, okay, we're really looking at data, the true purpose behind it is to get yourself back to a place where you're really tuned into your own writing and you're really thinking about what you truly loved about it. And I love that people are giving these ideas, like Kate's idea, some people saying, oh, I'm going to try this. I've always done, so Hannah says, I've always sprinted 20 on, 10 off. And I've realized 10 on, 10 off is far more productive. And the more you become the more you start to see that progress coming faster, the more fun the writing process is going to be again, because you'll feel that positive momentum. If you've taken my HB90 course, you know that I'm all about the positive momentum, or if you've watched any of my Kanban board videos, there is a magic in positive momentum. So if you start to actually get more words per minute, more bang for your buck, so to speak, you're going to start to feel that positive momentum. And that is truly what I want for you, because writing is such a gift. And sometimes it can start to feel like such a chore. And so figure out how you can get more time or more words out of your time, more joy out of your time, and really support you and your individual process, because it really is so important. All right. So that is basically what we've done up to this point. Tomorrow, what I want you to go ahead and do, as soon as you have figured out your average words per minute and your best sprinting time, is do, like I said, figure out a combination of your favorite sprinting time or your most productive sprinting time and your favorite time of day. Now, I did see one comment went by that said, my favorite time of day is, Anna says, my favorite time coincides with my busiest time at work, which is so sad. But if you can make it happen, get as close to your ideal time. Or if you feel like it went really well where it was, but you kind of want to try something new tomorrow. I will be back again tomorrow briefly at 3:00 to go through this final day and to just give you a few final words of encouragement and a few final ideas for how you can continue on with this type of sprinting. If you would like to join us in our Facebook group, I know some of you are watching from that group, but some of you are watching on YouTube as well. we have a Facebook group called the Heart Breathing's Word Sprint Challenge, where you can join thousands of other writers. We have lots of live sprints. We have events like our Double Down Day coming up this weekend and a writing retreat every single month that happens digitally in the group. So I would love for you to come join us. The link to join is down below. Just make sure when you request to join that you also answer the questions so that we know you're not a bot or someone coming to spam the group. And we would love to have you guys there. Also, if you were hoping to sign up for my Publish and Thrive self-publishing class, it's only open for a few more days. So we close the doors at midnight Eastern time on Sunday. So this is your chance to join in. Even if you haven't finished a novel yet, it's good to get those fundamentals. And even if you are already published and just not seeing the results you want, or you really want to get back to the fundamentals and see what other marketing things you can do, this is a great course. So I would love to have you in there. Lori says, I love the HB Word Sprint challenges. I get so much writing done. I highly recommend the sprints. And your best time, evenings, 25 minutes. That's such important things to do. Oh, I love that live that Kate did. I was scared we would get the 50-minute sprint. Oh my gosh, that's too long for me. I'd have to split that up. Kate says, thank you, Sarah. I got so much writing done this week. I'm so glad that you guys did. And if you have enjoyed doing writing sprints on this channel and focusing on it here on YouTube, I know not everybody is on Facebook all the time, but let me know, and maybe we can work a few live sprints into the chat here. Maybe some co-op with some other author tubers would be fun too. Plus maybe our admins like Rhiannon and Lisa and Angela, we could all kind of get together and do some live writing sprints together as well. So come join us. I've really enjoyed this challenge. Don't forget to download it if you would like, and come back in about half an hour. There's going to be a brand new video on writing a series versus a serial, and what my thoughts are on that coming up pretty soon this afternoon. So I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll be back tomorrow with our final day of tips. Bye.